The alley cat had never known kindness. For years, he roamed the city streets, scavenging for food, dodging cars, and avoiding people who shooed him away. His fur was matted, his ear was torn, and his ribs showed beneath his thin coat. To most, he was nothing more than a filthy stray. Some people threw things at him when he got too close. Others kicked at him or chased him away with brooms. He learned quickly that humans weren't to be trusted. The only time he was shown any kindness was when an old woman behind a bakery tossed him scraps of bread. But even that wasn't enough to keep him from going hungry most nights. But to little Tommy, he was something else. Tommy was a quiet boy, often found sitting alone on his front steps, watching the world go by. Unlike the others, he never threw things at the cat or chased him away. Instead, he left bits of food near the doorstep and spoke to him softly whenever he passed. "Hey, kitty," Tommy would whisper. "I saved some chicken for you." The cat never got too close. He had learned the hard way not to trust humans, until the night Tommy needed him most. The silent threat won. Cold evening, Tommy sat on the steps again, wrapped in his favorite hoodie, watching the stars. His parents were inside, thinking he was safe. He wasn't. A shadow moved in the darkness. A man, someone who didn't belong in the neighborhood, watched from across the street. He saw Tommy alone, vulnerable, and he started walking toward him. The cat, curled up in a nearby alley, noticed. His sharp eyes followed the man's movements, sensing something was wrong. The man's steps were too quiet. His gaze was locked onto the boy. The cat stood up. His fur bristled. Something told him Tommy was in danger. And for the first time in his life, he ran toward a human instead of away. Tommy noticed the cat trotting toward him and smiled. "Hey, buddy," he said, reaching into his pocket for a piece of bread. But before he could toss it, the man lunged. The attack that never happened. A rough hand grabbed Tommy's wrist. The boy yelped, trying to pull away, but the man was too strong. His grip was firm, and his eyes darted toward the dark street as if checking to make sure no one saw. But someone did. The cat let out a blood-curdling scream, a sound so loud and unnatural that it sent chills down Tommy's spine. Before the man could react, the cat launched himself at him, claws out, fangs bared. He landed right on the man's arm, sinking his sharp teeth into the flesh. The man shouted in pain, trying to shake him off, but the cat held on, scratching, biting, hissing with all the rage of a wild animal defending its own. Tommy fell backward onto the steps, eyes wide in shock. The man cursed, finally managing to yank the cat off his arm. He flung him to the ground, and the cat hit the pavement with a painful thud. But he didn't stay down. Despite the pain, the cat got back up, fur standing on end, tail lashing furiously. He let out another screech, this time even louder. Lights flicked on in the nearby houses. A window opened. The front door to Tommy's house burst open, and his father ran outside. "Tommy, what's going on?" The man froze. He glanced at the cat, then at Tommy's father, then at the now alert neighborhood. And then he ran. He bolted down the street, disappearing into the shadows. Tommy's father rushed over, pulling his son into a tight hug. "Are you okay? What happened?" Tommy, still shaking, pointed at the cat. He saved me." His father looked down at the scrappy, dirty stray. The cat sat panting, his body bruised, his fur ruffled, but his eyes were sharp, never leaving the direction the man had fled. For the first time, someone looked at him, not with disgust, but with gratitude. A home for a hero. The police arrived soon after. They searched for the man but found nothing. What they did find was a surveillance camera across the street. The footage showed everything: the man creeping toward Tommy, the cat's sudden attack, and the way he had protected the boy. The story spread fast. The stray cat, once ignored and unwanted, was now a hero. Neighbors who had once chased him away now whispered in awe about what he had done. Strangers wanted to know what would happen to him. But Tommy's family already knew the answer. The next day, they brought the cat inside. For the first time in his life, the stray didn't have to fight for survival. He had warmth, he had food, and most importantly, he had a family. Tommy named him Shadow because he had always been there, watching, unnoticed, until the night he saved his best friend's life. And from that moment on, Shadow was never alone again.